What happens when political power meets a judge who can't be bought? A young woman enters Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom with the confidence of someone who believes consequences don't apply to her. Ashley Morrison, daughter of Rhode Island's governor. She doesn't walk in, she arrives. Designer red-bottom heels clicking across marble floors, $6,000 dress hugging her shoulders, diamond earrings that could pay a family's rent for months. Her expression says everything. These rules are for other people, not me. Because when your mother controls the governor's mansion and appoints judges across the state, you don't expect accountability. You expect obedience. Ashley sits, crosses her legs, smirks at the cameras. And then she looks Judge Caprio straight in the eyes and says, "Relax, Judge Grandpa. Do you know how many judges my mother appoints?" The courtroom freezes. But what Ashley doesn't know, what she never could have imagined, is that Judge Frank Caprio has spent his entire career proving one thing. Power means nothing. Character means everything. Because the real reason she's here? Ashley was driving drunk. She slammed into a minivan with 2 children inside. She tried to flee, and when a state trooper tried to arrest her, she laughed and said, "Do you know who my mother is?" Her plan for today was simple. Drop her mother's title, walk out without consequences. But today, her privilege is about to collide with reality. And Judge Caprio is about to deliver a ruling that will make her jaw hit the floor. Before we go further, welcome to Case Closed, where power doesn't protect you, truth does. Drop a comment. Where in the world are you watching from? Hit subscribe because this showdown between political privilege and real justice is a moment you will never forget. It's Friday morning at 10:15 a.m. in the Providence Municipal Court. The bailiff announces the state of Rhode Island versus Ashley Elizabeth Morrison. Ashley walks in, her heels clicking confidently on the courtroom floor. She's carrying a designer purse and checking her phone as she approaches the bench. Judge Caprio looks up from his paperwork with his characteristic dignity. "Good morning, Ms. Morrison. Please put your phone away. This is a courtroom, not a social event." Ashley rolls her eyes but drops the phone into her purse with obvious irritation. "Whatever. Can we make this quick? I have brunch reservations at noon." Judge Caprio's expression remains professional, but his tone becomes firmer. "Ms. Morrison, you're charged with driving under the influence, reckless endangerment, leaving the scene of an accident, and obstruction of justice. These are serious charges. How do you respond?" Ashley sighs dramatically as if this is all a huge inconvenience. "Look, Judge Grandpa, I think we can—" "That's Judge Caprio or Your Honor," he interrupts sharply. "You will show proper respect in this courtroom." Ashley's smile is condescending. "Right. Sorry, Your Honor. I just think we can resolve this pretty quickly if we're realistic about the situation. My mother is Governor Linda Morrison. Maybe you've heard of her. She's kind of a big deal. First female governor in state history." Judge Caprio's expression remains controlled. "Ms. Morrison, your mother's position as governor doesn't influence how criminal charges are handled in this court." Sure, I get that you have to say that for the cameras," Ashley responds with a dismissive wave. "But realistically, my mom appoints judges. She signs the state budget that pays your salary. She has the attorney general on speed dial. So maybe we can skip the whole formal proceeding thing and work out something that makes sense for everyone." People in the courtroom react with audible gasps at her entitled attitude. Judge Caprio reviews the police report carefully. "Miss Morrison, according to the state trooper's report, you were driving 70 miles per hour in a 40-mile-per-hour zone at 11:30 p.m. on November 3rd. Your vehicle ran a red light and struck a minivan occupied by Rachel Chen and her 2 children, ages 6 and 8. You then attempted to leave the scene. Is that accurate?" Ashley shrugs casually. I was coming from a fundraiser for my mom's re-election campaign. Important donors, networking. You know how it is." "Yes, I had a few glasses of wine, but I was totally fine to drive." As for the accident, it was barely a fender bender. The minivan had like a tiny dent. Nobody was seriously hurt. Nobody was seriously hurt, Judge Caprio repeats. Miss Morrison, the two children in that vehicle were terrified. Mrs. Chen suffered whiplash and missed a week of work. Your vehicle was totaled. Ashley waves her hand dismissively. Kids are dramatic. They cry about everything. And the mom, Mrs. Chan or whatever her name is, she's probably just trying to get a settlement from my family. My mom's lawyers have already been in contact about paying for the car repairs and her medical bills. We're handling it. It's Mrs. Chen, Judge Caprio corrects. And handling it financially doesn't excuse criminal behavior. Criminal behavior? Ashley laughs. Your Honor, with all due respect, you're making this sound way more serious than it actually is. I had a minor accident after a long night. That's it. This happens to college kids all the time. You're 23 years old. You're not a college kid anymore. And this wasn't a minor accident. You endangered children. Ashley's expression becomes more defiant. Look, Judge, here's the thing. My mother is running for re-election. She's the first female governor in state history, and she's doing amazing work for Rhode Island. Having her daughter dragged through a public trial for something this minor would be a huge distraction from important state business. So maybe we could be smart about this and just make it go away quietly. Judge Caprio's patience is clearly being tested. Miss Morrison, are you asking me to dismiss charges because your mother is governor? I'm asking you to use common sense, Ashley responds. My mom has appointed, like 15 judges in the past 4 years? She controls judicial nominations. She sets court budgets. You're a municipal judge handling traffic cases. She's the governor. There's a hierarchy here. And maybe you should think about where everyone fits in it. Subscribe to Judge Stories if you believe no family position should place anyone above the law, regardless of gender or political power. Judge Caprio's expression becomes stern. Miss Morrison, let's review the dashcam footage from Trooper Williams' patrol car so we can see exactly what happened during your traffic stop and arrest. Ashley straightens slightly, but maintains her confident demeanor. Sure, let's watch it. You'll see that the trooper completely overreacted. The monitors show footage that will soon go viral. The dashcam shows Ashley's luxury sedan weaving erratically through traffic, speeding through residential streets. When she runs the red light and crashes into the Chen family's minivan, the impact is clearly visible. The minivan spins sideways. Children's screams are audible. Ashley's car comes to rest against the street sign. For a moment, nothing happens. Then Ashley's driver's door opens. She gets out, looks at the damage, looks at the minivan, where Rachel Chen is checking on her crying children, and then gets back in her car and attempts to drive away. Her car won't start. She tries 3 times before finally getting out again. Other drivers have stopped. Someone yells, "You can't leave! You just hit that family!" Ashley yells back, clearly intoxicated. "Mind your own business. Do you know who I am?" Rachel Chen gets out, visibly shaken, her children crying. "Are you drunk? You almost killed my kids!" Ashley stumbles toward Rachel. "Killed them? Don't be so dramatic. Your van is fine. Kids cry about everything. You're drunk and you just ran a red light." "I had a few drinks at a political fundraiser for the governor." "The governor? That's my mom, by the way, so maybe watch your tone." Trooper Williams arrives. "Ma'am, have you been drinking?" Ashley's response is immediately hostile. "Do you know who you're talking to?" "Ma'am, I need you to step over here for a field sobriety test. I'm Ashley Morrison, as in Governor Morrison's daughter. As in, you really don't want to be doing this right now." Trooper Williams remains professional. "Ma'am, you were involved in an accident. I smell alcohol. I need you to cooperate." "Cooperate?" Ashley laughs harshly. "Officer, let me explain something. My mother is the governor of this state. She controls the state police budget. She appoints the commissioner. Are you understanding what I'm telling you?" "Ma'am, I need you to walk in a straight line." "I'm not doing your little roadside circus," Ashley snaps. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to let me call my mother's chief of staff. They'll send a car to pick me up. You'll file a report that says I wasn't impaired, and tomorrow you'll wake up with your career intact. That's option 1. And option 2. Option 2 is you try to be a hero, arrest the governor's daughter, and find out what happens to state troopers who don't understand political realities. My mother will have you directing traffic in shopping mall parking lots. Or maybe she'll just eliminate your position entirely in the next budget. Is this really the hill you want to die on?" Trooper Williams pulls out his breathalyzer. "Ma'am, blow into this device." "Are you kidding me? Did you not hear anything I just said? My mother is Governor Linda Morrison. She built her career on being tough on crime, and she's not going to let some nobody state trooper embarrass her family." She steps closer, her voice cold. "Listen carefully. If you arrest me, if you breathalyze me, my mother's office will destroy you. They'll investigate every ticket you've ever written. They'll find something. They always do. Is this worth losing your pension over?" "Ma'am, turn around and place your hands behind your back." Ashley explodes. "You stupid man! Do you understand what you're doing? My mother is running for re-election. Having her daughter arrested will give ammunition to every opponent she has. You're not just hurting me, you're hurting women in politics everywhere. This is gender discrimination." Judge Caprio pauses the video. The courtroom sits in stunned silence. Ashley examines her manicure as if nothing happened. "Ms. Morrison," Judge Caprio begins carefully, "you've just watched yourself flee an accident scene where you injured a family, refused to cooperate with law enforcement, threaten an officer's career repeatedly, and invoke both your mother's position and gender politics to avoid accountability. How do you explain this behavior?" Ashley straightens confidently. "Your Honor, that footage shows a traumatic situation where I was in shock from the accident and the trooper was being unnecessarily aggressive. I was scared and I said things I didn't mean. Plus, I'd been drinking, so obviously I wasn't thinking clearly. You admit you were intoxicated." "Well, yeah, that's why my judgment was impaired. So you can't really hold me accountable for things I said while intoxicated." Judge Caprio's expression shows disbelief. "Miss Morrison, you're arguing that being drunk excuses threatening a police officer?" "I'm saying I wasn't in my right mind. And honestly, Trooper Williams could have just let me call my mother's office. None of this had to happen. He chose to escalate. He chose to enforce the law. He chose to arrest the governor's daughter during an election year." Ashley corrects. "That's a political decision, not a legal one." Judge Caprio leans forward. "Miss Morrison, let me ask you directly. Do you believe driving drunk and crashing into a family with children is acceptable behavior?" Ashley pauses, calculating. "Of course not, Your Honor. Drunk driving is bad, I get that, but context matters. I wasn't like blackout drunk. I was maybe a little over the limit. And I didn't see the red light because I was checking a text from my mom's campaign manager. So it was more like distracted driving, with some alcohol involved, not full-on drunk driving." "You were texting while driving drunk." "I was handling campaign business," Ashley says, as if this makes it better. "My mother's re-election is important." "Miss Morrison, do you understand how serious these charges are? You could have killed those children." Ashley's response stuns the courtroom. "But I didn't. Nobody died. The kids are fine, the mom is fine. My insurance is paying for everything. So really, what's the actual harm here? Some people got scared for a few minutes, that's it." Judge Caprio has reached his breaking point. "Ms. Morrison, based on the Dashcam evidence, your complete absence of remorse for endangering children, and your demonstrated belief that your mother's position exempts you from legal consequences, I'm prepared to impose penalties that will teach you the difference between political privilege and criminal accountability. Ashley's confidence finally wavers. Penalties? Your Honor, this is obviously a first offense. My family has resources. We can handle any fine you want to impose. This isn't about money, Ms. Morrison. Judge Caprio begins delivering his sentence for driving under the influence with a blood alcohol content of 0.14, nearly double the legal limit. While texting, I'm imposing a fine of $25,000. Ashley barely reacts. Her family has money. For reckless endangerment of 2 minor children, an additional fine of $15,000. Still no concern. For leaving the scene of an accident, an additional fine of $10,000. Ashley shifts but doesn't seem worried yet. I'm also suspending your driving privileges for 5 full years. Now Ashley shows real alarm. 5 years? Your Honor, that's insane. How am I supposed to get around? I need to drive. You should have considered that before driving drunk and crashing into a family. But Judge Caprio isn't finished. The courtroom is about to witness something unprecedented. And since you seem to believe that your mother's position as governor should shield you from consequences, you're going to learn what real accountability looks like. Ashley's arrogant facade starts to crack. What do you mean? You're sentenced to 6 months of court-ordered inpatient alcohol rehabilitation. The courtroom gasps. Ashley's mouth falls open. Impatient? Like living at a rehab facility for 6 months? Ms. Morrison, you have a serious alcohol problem. You need treatment, not coddling. I don't have an alcohol problem. I have a social drinking situation that got out of hand one time. One time that we know about. Your blood alcohol was 0.14. That's dangerous intoxication. You can't make me live in rehab. What about private rehab? My family can afford the best facility. Judge Caprio's response is firm. You'll attend the state-funded rehabilitation facility in Cranston, the same facility that every other Rhode Islander without private insurance uses. You'll receive the same treatment as everyone else. Ashley's face goes white. The public facility? Where regular people go? Everyone will know. The press will find out. This will destroy my mother's campaign. Your mother built her political career on being tough on crime. Perhaps she'll appreciate the irony. Additionally, you're required to speak at 100 public high schools throughout Rhode Island about the dangers of drunk driving and the consequences of privilege. Ashley stares in absolute horror. 100 schools? Speaking in public. Students will record me. Everyone will see. Ms. Morrison, if you're concerned about public judgment, you should have considered that before endangering children. Judge Caprio delivers his final blow. And there's one more thing. If you receive any alcohol-related violation during the next 10 years, your license will be revoked for life. Permanently. No appeals, no second chances. For life? Ashley's voice cracks. That's excessive. Miss Morrison, you nearly killed 2 children while driving drunk. I'm ensuring you never endanger anyone again. Reality crashes down. $50,000 in fines, 5 years without driving, 6 months living in public rehab, 100 school visits. Your Honor, please. Ashley's voice becomes desperate. I'll apologize to the family. I'll apologize to the trooper. Just don't make me do inpatient rehab where everyone can see me. My reputation will be destroyed. To help that family. As bailiffs prepare to escort Ashley away, she makes one final attempt. When my mother hears about this, when her office gets involved, you're going to wish you'd been reasonable. Judge Caprio's response silences the courtroom. If your mother's office wants to investigate whether I properly applied the law, I welcome that scrutiny. Because unlike you, I believe that no one is above the law, not even the governor's daughter. But what happens next will shock everyone. As news breaks, reporters rush to get Governor Morrison's response. Instead of using her influence to reduce the sentence, Governor Linda Morrison calls a press conference that afternoon. Standing at the State House podium, Governor Morrison faces the cameras. "I have reviewed Judge Caprio's sentence of my daughter, Ashley Morrison. I have watched the dashcam footage of her behavior, and I want to make something absolutely clear. I stand with Judge Caprio's decision completely and without reservation." The press room erupts, but the governor continues. "My daughter drove drunk. She crashed into a minivan carrying 2 young children. She fled the scene. She threatened a state trooper. She invoked my position to try to escape accountability. That behavior is unacceptable. It's despicable, and it does not represent my values." Governor Morrison's voice becomes emotional but remains strong. "I built my career on being tough on crime, on equal justice under the law. I have prosecuted wealthy defendants, powerful defendants, connected defendants. I will never believe that some people are above the law. That includes my own daughter, especially my own daughter." She looks directly into the cameras. "Ashley will serve every day of her 6-month rehabilitation program. She will complete every hour of her community service. She will speak at every school Judge Caprio ordered, and she will do it without any interference from my office, without political favors, without special treatment. To Mrs. Rachel Chen and her children, I extend my deepest apologies. My daughter could have killed your family. To Trooper Williams, thank you. You represent the best of law enforcement. And to Judge Frank Caprio, thank you for treating my daughter the way you would treat any other defendant. Thank you for showing Rhode Island that our justice system works." The governor's next words make national headlines. "Effective immediately, I am removing Ashley from all campaign materials, from all campaign events, and from any public role. She does not represent my values or my vision for Rhode Island. When she completes her rehabilitation and demonstrates genuine change, we can discuss her role in our family." The statement goes viral. The governor's approval rating increases. 6 months later, Ashley completes her rehabilitation program. The expensive clothes have been replaced with simple clothing. The arrogance is gone. At her first high school speaking engagement at Providence Classical, she stands before 300 students holding phones. "My name is Ashley Morrison. 6 months ago, I was the governor's daughter. I wore designer clothes, drove a luxury car, and believed I was special because of my family name. Then I drove drunk, crashed into a family with 2 young children, fled the scene, and threatened a police officer." The students are silent, listening. "I told myself I wasn't really drunk, that I had it under control, that the rules didn't apply to me because of whom my mother is. I was wrong about everything. I nearly killed 2 kids, 6-year-old Emma and 8-year-old Lucas Chen. They were just sitting in their mom's van." Ashley's voice cracks. "Judge Caprio sentenced me to 6 months in public rehab. I thought it was cruel. I thought he was making an example of me. But he saved my life. In that rehab center, I met real people. People whose alcoholism cost them their kids, their jobs, their homes. People who didn't have family money to fix their problems." She pulls out a photo. "This is the family I almost destroyed. Rachel Chen and her children. Mrs. Chen works 2 jobs to support her kids. She's never had a DUI. She's a better person than I was, and I nearly killed her. Judge Caprio gave me a choice I didn't know I was making. He could have just fined me and let me go back to my privileged life. Instead, he made me face what I did. He made me understand that accountability isn't punishment. It's the only way to actually change." The students applaud. Not Mockingly, respectfully. Someone posts the video. Within days, 3 million views. The comments are supportive. 3 years after her sentencing, Ashley Morrison lives in a small apartment in Providence. She works as a counselor at the same rehabilitation center where she was treated. She makes $35,000 a year. She takes the bus because she still has 2 years left on her license suspension. She's spoken at over 200 schools. After her sentencing, months pass. Then, one afternoon, Ashley knocks softly on a door marked Judge's Chambers. Judge Caprio opens it. "Ashley Morrison," he says. "How are you?" She takes a breath. Not the arrogant girl from months ago, but someone changed from the inside. "I'm good, Your Honor," she says quietly. "I needed to say something." Judge Caprio nods for her to continue. "Thank you." He looks confused. For what? Ashley swallows. "For not letting me escape accountability. For treating me like any other person, not like the governor's daughter. For holding me responsible when the world never did." She wipes her eyes. "You didn't ruin my life. You saved it." Judge Caprio smiles gently. "You saved your own life, Ashley," he replies. "I just refuse to stand in the way of your wake-up call." Ashley Morrison walked into that courtroom believing her last name was a shield. She left in handcuffs. 6 months mandatory rehabilitation, 5 years without driving privileges, lifetime accountability to prove she changed. She entered as a symbol of privilege. She left as a symbol of growth. And she learned something most people never do. Privilege isn't protection. Privilege is responsibility. Sometimes the greatest gift isn't mercy. It's someone refusing to let you get away with the things that are destroying you. Judge Frank Caprio's legacy isn't punishment. His legacy is transformation. He didn't just enforce law, he reminded people that accountability is compassion. Justice is a second chance, not a free pass. Every person stands equal before the bench. He didn't leave behind rulings. He left behind better human beings. He believed that justice should protect the powerless, humble the powerful, and change the person standing before him. That's not just a judge. That's a legacy. You're watching Case Closed, where the truth hits harder than privilege. If you believe accountability creates better people, hit subscribe right now. Like this video if you stand for justice that cares. Comment below. Accountability is love. See you in the next story. Until then, stay hopeful, stay human, and never stop fighting for what's right.